Welcome to Keeping Tabs. I'm Tabitha Crock, and every Monday, I talk to someone here in North Idaho with the goal to connect more people in the Coeur d'Alene area. And then every Friday, I talk to someone outside the community to bring in a new perspective and to learn a little bit about yourself. Kacie and Nicole with me today, and if you guys don't know who they are and you're here locally, you should know them. They are with Coeur d'Alene Cycle Bar CDA, and they are newer owners. I guess, how long have you guys been owners now?
1 year in October.
Oh, yes, that's right. So they're doing some really great things. So we're going to learn a little bit about you guys and a little bit behind how you guys got into Cycle Bar. So I'm going to start with Nicole first, of course.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about who you are, like who is Nicole, and how you kind of got into the Cycle Bar world.
So obviously I'm Nicole. Hi. My career has always been in dental hygiene, and I've worked for about 15 years doing that. And when we moved to Idaho, which I'm a new resident here, I just really wanted to try something new. And I have been a cardio junkie for a really long time. I always was a runner. I woke up every morning and ran with a girlfriend in our neighborhood. And was just like, I like fitness. I like that people are happy and they want to be in a place of fitness, whereas no one wants to go to the dentist. And that got really old after 15 years. And I loved my job, but I was like, I'm ready to try something new. So when we moved to Idaho, I felt like it was just a great opportunity to kind of expand on that idea and just kind of put the feelers out there, was looking around, got introduced to Jamie through friends and really hit it off with her. She's just such a special human. And she said, why don't you check out Cycle Bar? And so I came and I took a couple classes without really telling anyone who I was, and instantly fell in love. First of all, with the workout. Second of all, with just the feel of the studio when you walk in and the way everyone welcomes you. The instructor I first took was Rachel Otay, and she is just a phenomenal human being in general. And so just her energy and the energy of everybody here was something I've never experienced in a big box gym, unfortunately. And I've done boutique fitness, but this was also very different than anything I'd done in boutique fitness. So I just was intrigued instantly. And so the wheels kind of started spinning. Talked about it with my husband. He was like, no, bad idea. I was like, I don't know, let's just try. So like I said, took classes without really anybody knowing. I took Kacie's class a couple times. She had no idea who I was. And then more conversations with Jamie, and then Jamie entered, the conversation with introducing me to Kacie. And that's kind of how the ball got going with Cycle Bar. It was all very, no, we can't do that. But then all the doors started opening and it just seemed to all fall in place. And it was kind of one of those moments where you couldn't say no anymore to stuff. You just had to be like, all right, let's try. Because it just all feels very right. And it feels like this is what we're supposed to do.
And I think so many people all the time see those like doors opening, but they're still so timid, and they like lose that opportunity. So it's really cool to be like, when it's like the universe is slapping you in the face, like, no, really take this. This is like a great opportunity. It's for you.
I'm new to the area. I didn't know a single person. Our family moved up here not knowing anyone. And I'm a big people person and I love being around people. So for me, it was like, how do I find my people in a new place? And I don't know, it all has been so organic and so amazing and just has been a lot of fun. So
that's awesome. Great. So, and then you got the other side, you got Kacie over here, which has been an instructor since, even when I've been taking her class on and off. And like, Kacie, how did you fall into, more than just an amazing instructor?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love you. So Jamie had approached me, who's Jamie again, like mirroring what Nicole said. One of my great friends, love Jamie, an amazing business owner here, had approached me and asked if I would be interested because she knew I loved Cycle Bar so much. I rode with the brand for years and years. And I, like, my less fun job is a nurse. So I was like, no, I don't have the time. I can't do it. And I quote Tabitha, and I quote, I said, if you find someone that doesn't suck, you can give them my name if they want a partner. So she found Nicole. We had a vibe meeting. Is that what we call it?
Yes.
A vibe meeting. We talked zero business. It's like, so you want to do this? Do you think you want to do this?
You got this, right? And then she went home and she came back and she's like, well, I guess I should ask some other questions about the business. Like, oh, yeah. Oh, you want to know about the money side? Oh, okay, yeah, I guess.
We got along really well. So the vibe meeting went well, and similar to Nicole, people, it's 7 years for me in ER and trauma, and people, same way they are at the dentist, are not loving life when they're in the emergency room for whatever reason. So the joy that Cycle Bar brings is infectious, and I was like, well, why wouldn't I want to try to make this a thing and step back from the ER?
There's just something fun about having your job be so positive, and that's maybe
and like it sounds like it's like a preventative, like both of you kind of in that healthcare realm. It's such a preventative piece that you're like, oh, so we don't want you in the ER, we don't want you sick, we want you healthy. So this is a great way to stay out of the ER.
I think 100%. I think we both are so well versed in health ways. Like, my mom's a nurse. She's been a nurse. She still is a nurse for my entire life, so almost 50 years she's been nursing. And I think there's just so much to be said about, there's so much importance to being in a positive social environment, getting your heart rate up, having fun, like all these things just play into the well-being of your whole mindset, your body, all of it. So it is fun to be in a place where you can promote that essentially for everybody.
Oh, for sure. And I have been to the gyms, and I love going to my gym, and I love my body pump. I love my Les Mills. I used to teach those classes, and I love it. But like, you're so right. There's a different culture. There's a different vibe. There's a whole different thing with Cycle Bar, which is magic. Like, I love that you come in, and even if someone doesn't know your name, you're Kacie, you're introducing yourself, and you're making someone feel like they're already like valued. And I think that's what is so important about Cycle Bar, because then people keep coming back. And the music is always fantastic. So tell us a little bit about like kind of behind Cycle Bar, and like, because it's much bigger than just here in Coeur d'Alene. So tell us a little bit of kind of maybe Kacie, because I know you're big on this, and you guys just came back from a conference too. Tell us a little bit about kind of the behind Cycle Bar and the magic behind it.
I think truly that the writers create the magic, and that's why it is magical. I think it's because of the bodies in the room and what they bring in there. Because speaking as an instructor, and I've been a writer, you can't create magic as an instructor without like magical humans in there. So when you have a group of writers who are just like loving it and high-fiving each other and all that kind of stuff, it just kind of organically like happens.
Yeah.
But Cycle Bar specifically as a brand, I fell in love with because it's very inclusive. The whole workout can be tailored to literally to anybody, whether you haven't worked out in 10 years or you have ran 17 miles every single day for the last 5 years. Yeah. It can be as hard or as like light as you want it, and there's no judgment. No, the room is dark. The people in there don't, like, they just don't. I don't know how to describe it.
And there's something to be said about one of the instructors she's director of training. Her name's Kay Max, and she's been to our studio a couple times. She just said the other day, she's like, we're in the business of making people happy. And that's, I used to be a 24-hour fitness member. I think they are great gyms and they serve a perfect purpose, but no one was there to make me happy. Like I had to make myself happy, but it's like, we are in the business of making people happy. And I think it does reflect on that. Like we, in class today, she played a song, Celine Dion. How many times do we need to listen to Celine Dion in a cycle bar class? But it's been a lot lately.
No, there's no limit. I don't want to hear that.
And so today she's like, if you all get up and do this, I will not play this song for 2 months. So of course, I was the first one up. I was like, let's go. Someone literally pulled me back down into my saddle and was like, no, don't get up. Like, and that's fun.
I did see a Instagram story of Kacie dancing, and those moves were fantastic.
Yeah.
It was 80s inspired.
I just feel like, yes, there are so many workouts out there that are fun. For some reason, this one is just really fun to Kacie and I.
And hopefully
everybody else is having as much fun as we are. But it's rare that you can sit through a 45-minute spin class and your cheeks are hurting because you're smiling or laughing over what's going on in the room. And
you're still getting like a badass burn.
Yeah, and that I think is such a testament to instructors, the people we have here in our studio. Our members are so special and they all support each other so much through whatever they're going through also, which I think is amazing and something I've not seen in other places maybe as much. I'm sure it exists, but this is just next level of support and I love that.
100%. That was going to kind of bring my next point, is that not only is it like you're laughing and smiling and I do a lot of dancing in cycle bar, but there's also moments where I feel like I've cried in cycle bar, and it was almost like better than a therapy session because it was like the way your instructors connected with that person. I mean, I found out like my grandmother had cancer right before I went to a cycle bar class, and I lost it and I walked out, and this was Jamie texted me later. She's like, are you good? And it was just, it's one of those things, but it was, I don't know, like therapeutic. And then there's times I'm just going through rough stuff. And you had someone like, Kacie or Rachel Oteg was really good at this too, is like talking about like woman in power, or, these are the hard things. And I was like, all right, I'm a mess. Like I'm crying, but it was good cries. Like it's a good thing.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like, there have been classes of Sammy's where I'm like, yes, this is what I'm talking about.
I'm like, yes, let's go. She's done that. She gets mad and I love it.
Yes.
Fired. And you can't fake that.
But everyone's got like their different take on it. Taylor will have these one-liners where you're like, oh man, that was
mic drop.
Good. Like that was so good. And it just is, it's a fun, everyone is so fun. And I feel like we all it hits us differently for sure. Each person that's in the class, and we'll all come out and comment on something, or, there'll be an Instagram post later on that really hits someone a certain way. And I'll have been in that class. I'm like, whoa, I didn't even hear that, but that's amazing. And I love that affected you or, impacted you in that way.
Well, I don't know. Well, and that's what I think. I don't know completely about the whole cycle bar, like the mission and everything behind it, but I love that each instructor gets to be themselves too, is that like you don't go to certain classes because you're like, I don't rage to this stuff. And then you go to someone else that maybe has a little more like calming. So I love that, you kind of have that different personality and the instructors get to be themselves.
Yeah. I mean, I sat with Tevye, who's kind of like the brainchild behind it all. And she's like, we're fueling energetic community. That is our goal. And I was like, well, that's amazing. I'm here for that.
I love it. Well, so let's have a few fun questions. Kacie, what is your biggest pet peeve?
I'm going to try to keep it just like rated G, but with no bad words.
Oh, I thought I was like, where are we going?
Like, I'm going to take a drink for that one.
I was like, I need a drink too. Goodness.
Okay. It's slow walkers. I can't. I really can't. I said I wouldn't say any bad words, but I truly believe there is a special place in hell for people who walk slow, and I can't.
These are the answers I live face.
Like,
She's
Same.
not lying either.
and I am married to a slow walker, so
Same.
it's infuriating, and I'm like, and there's just so chill back there, super chill. I'm like,
Oh yeah, my husband is the same way. He like now, because I'm going too fast, he will walk so slow that I'm like, where did he go?
yeah, so slow walkers is it's really prevalent during the holiday season.
It's fine.
Also, she does not do well in Vegas with all of the slow walkers.
Oh gosh, I bet you went crazy.
And I try to remember that I'm like 6 feet tall and I have super long legs, but also go quicker, pretty please. And if you are a slow walker, it's okay. You can go faster though.
She also won't wait for you because she only wears sandals in Vegas. So if you're wearing heels and walking a little bit slower, she's not going to wait for you.
I love it.
Yeah. Hi, Nicole. Pick it up.
All right, Nicole, what about you? Do we have are we slow walker pet peeve too?
No, mine is clutter. I'm like a straight up OCD type A person. I don't do well with clutter. So that's my pet peeve.
You couldn't live
Everyone
in my
loves-
studio right now. Mm-mm.
Everyone loves when I come in after I've been gone and I come into the back of the studio and I'm like, what is going on? And I
Like
rage.
switching.
Give Nicole a Celsius and
Oh.
everything will be.
Oh, just
Have
sticking-
you guys been watching White Lotus?
What is white
No, it's on HBO
Oh,
Max.
because I was like, I just watched the episode of the mom that like is the same way, and her kids
Oh.
are like, Mom, you need medication.
I probably do need medication, Tabitha, which is why my horoscope wrapped was like, you need therapy. I was like, yes, I do.
Oh, I know those horoscope. If you are listening, there's like the horoscope wrap, just like the Spotify, and it like is a little too spot on, and you're like, ooh.
They're chef's kiss. They're so good.
Speaking of the Spotify wrapped, Kacie, what did yours look like this year?
Oh.
Were you the same as Sammy's?
Now we both had Halsey for our number one. I was in the top 0.05% of listeners.
Oh my goodness. Not
I
surprising.
don't know why I didn't get a letter or
A certificate?
some type of award at least. And then there was Celine Dion, and then there was Dermot Kennedy, and then there was Elenium and Mumford and Miley. I don't know how Miley made the list. It must be because I listened to that Wrecking Ball, Frost with Nothing Compares to You live song
That was a
a
lot.
lot. That's probably why.
Well, and Sammy, so if you're listening, go back and listen to the episode before this, because I interviewed Sammy and she works there as well. And she's like, well, my Spotify wrapped list was kind of all crazy because of how much music you guys have to listen to and prep for classes.
No, it's insane. The bandwidth they all have for their music knowledge is
Amazing.
mine was very apropos. It was like the 4 songs I listened to over and over again, the 4 artists, like nothing special about it at all. And their stuff, I'm like, I don't even know who that is, but I clearly like it because I love all the music you play in class.
Yeah. So what was your 4 artists, like Nicole?
Oh, mine were Fantagram because I'm a huge Fantagram fan. I think it was Fantagram, Bishop Briggs,
Oh, love me.
Alt J. Like I'm very standard with my love for indie
I
pop.
kind of picked up on that with the OCD. Like, I feel like that's your world.
Yeah,
She is a Scorpio.
I'm tried and
I
true.
know.
Tried and true.
Oh, that's so funny. So Kacie, I mean, there's a lot of people and I do the same thing. We put kind of a lot of stuff out on social media, what we want people to know about us. What would be something people would be surprised to know about you?
I'll answer it for her. That she hates social media.
That's probably.
Oh, and you have to, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have not guessed that.
I was like, I'm pretty open, but I'm not. I was thinking, no, I do hate social media, but I also understand that it is a necessary thing. This is where we're at. So,
but she throws a temper tantrum like a 3-year-old when you're like, can you do this? Ah. And she's so good at it though. She's so good at it. She's amazing at it. I don't understand how you can be
so good at it.
Yes, how you can be so talented at something and dislike it so much. Like, that's amazing to me.
I just think it's a huge time waster.
Oh, it feels like it. It's a time sucker, especially when you're creating content. I will be like, where did 3 hours go? And I'm getting content created, but I was like, I'm exhausted.
It takes forever. And it feels like you're doing nothing, which I think is the reason that I maybe don't like it, is I don't feel like I'm doing anything, even though I know I'm producing the stuff for businesses and everything. But
whereas me on the other side, I'm so illiterate to all of that. I have no idea. I literally had to ask her, like, you know when people put the song on? Like, how do you do this? I'm like, so bad. So when she busts out like these posts in a matter of like 5 minutes, I'm like, I could have never done it.
Yep.
She's very good at it, but she does not like it.
Well, I had no idea, because you do a great job, and you do a great job connecting with, I think, your cycle bar community as well. And so that's probably why you guys do have that like core of amazing people and humans.
And I think that is like the only fun part of it, when the community does engage.
Mm-hmm.
So please engage more, because that's what brings us joy.
It sparks joy. It makes the 12 hours of editing.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yep. So Nicole, what would be something someone would be surprised to hear about you, our wonderful Scorpio?
Yeah, I am pretty trying to my.
She walks around the house in these slippers. They're these house slippers, and they have a giant pom-pom on them. Giant.
She's always like, did you get those from Aladdin? Like, where did you get those? I'm like,
I want
these are my house slippers. Why are they?
Oh my gosh. You guys do TikTok? You two need to do the ick challenge. Have you seen that?
No.
So you like a list of icks of your partner, your best friend, or like your business partner, and you're like, what is my biggest ick? And then it's like, and they're hilarious. It's usually couples or business partners, and it's pretty funny.
Well, I'm sure my husband will have some good
I
ones.
feel like we could go down the rabbit hole on that one, Tabitha.
Or then you guys become in a big fight. I don't know. It's
no, because you say it to each other.
No, it's all very apparent.
That's what I love about it. Nicole's like, let me answer for Kacie.
Yeah, I was like, I got this.
And I was like, I got Nicole. It's the house slippers. Every time I go to her house, I'm like, oh.
Mm-hmm. It's because my husband keeps our house too cold for me. So that's why I'm like in a parka and I have my slippers on. I'm dressed for winter inside.
And you moved to beautiful North Idaho.
It is what it is. As he says every day to me, you have to have the cold come to you so you don't go to the cold. I'm like, I don't understand those words.
No, that's crazy talking. Why would you?
I don't understand that either. I'm thinking about it again.
Very, very philosophical, that guy.
So, Nicole, if you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would that person be and why?
Oh,
it's me.
Oh.
Get to have dinner with all the time.
Man, that is well, honestly, at this point in my life, it would be Colleen Hoover, because I've read almost every single one of her books, and I'm very curious about who she actually is.
Yeah.
I feel like she writes some really weird books sometimes. I'm like, I would love to just ask her a million questions, and that is very probably lame, but that's where I am right now.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read any of them, but I've heard some stuff.
You can read them in like a day. They're easy reads, but man, one of them had me bawling my eyes out in bed while I finished it. And my husband's like, why are you reading stuff that makes you cry? I was like, because it's so good.
I know, I like to cry.
I love it. And I just feel like she's been around for so long, but she is so popular right now. And I'm just intrigued by that, how you can write all these books, but all it takes is one to get a whole group of women obsessed with you. Where, I mean, I was just with my best friend and was like, oh, I brought this book if you want to read it. It's a Colleen Hoover. She's like, Coho? I love Coho. I was like, okay, what's happening?
Coho.
I didn't know that.
Yes. And I was like, all right, so here we go.
Coho.
So I think she's just super intriguing to me in that sense of like, I don't know. I also find writers so intriguing because I find writing to be the least enjoyable thing to ever do. And to draft an email is so hard for me. So I love to read. So she would be my person.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Drafting an email, like I got triggered by just hearing that. I don't know if you've seen that video about emails. Have you seen that Instagram?
No.
I'm on social media too much. Do you see it? And it was like each generation writing an email, and it was like Gen Z was like, I don't remember it. Like I think it was whatever generations before millennials. It was kind of like these short little like no punctuation, and then millennials were like have to draft it up and the anxiety that comes with it, and like having to send it to a friend to make sure they approve it before you send it. I was like, that is spot on.
Yeah, see, and I am very blunt and to the point where half the time I go back and I was like, can you insert a smiley face in an email so you don't sound bitchy? Like, I don't know, but I'm like, I just need to get this shit done.
Yeah. That's why I'm always like, I'm gonna put a smiley face so they know that this is a fun sentence and not like I'm like being directed.
No, I had
a fun sentence.
I had someone literally tell me like, start with, hey, how's your day going? And then it doesn't seem so abrasive. And I was like, oh, I can do that. So now it's always, how are you today? Can we get X, Y, Z done?
Need this stuff done by the end of the day. Thanks, bye.
And why wasn't it done yesterday?
So Kacie, what about you? Let's go back to the question about if you could have dinner with anybody, who would it be?
It would be, I'm also going to nerd out in a different way than Nicole nerded out.
You little nerd.
I would want to have dinner with Anne Boleyn.
Oh, Anne Boleyn.
The second wife of Henry VIII, because she is fascinating to me.
He's always giving me those like, I'm like,
do you know? You don't know who Anne Boleyn is?
I know, but I'm not like, I don't know much.
She was like painted to be a seductress or like a witch or all these things. She ended up getting beheaded for treason and adultery and all these things. But then now there's all this historical stuff that's come out to say she was actually painted wrong and all this stuff. And I just would really love to chat with her because I think she sounded like a bad bitch. And I think she would be really cool to have a convo.
Bad bitch vibes. And
bad bitch energy. Bad bitch energy.
Well, that's a great segue into my next question. Since I'm talking to two badass bitches, Nicole, what kind of advice would you give to and it doesn't have to be cycle bar, like to another young woman that's wanting to start a business or buying into a business or starting their own business? What is a good piece of advice you would give that person?
I mean, I think it's hard. And if you knew it was hard, no one would ever do it. But I think at the same time, there is something really rewarding about knowing that your hard work is so paid off by like seeing everything come to fruition and all of that. And I think it's just more of, you have to really want it. Like you, within your soul, like you can't just be like, oh, I think it's fun and I want to try it. No, it has to be like a passion. Like I love cycle bar and I love the workout. I'm a true believer of the workout. So I think that helps for me when the days are hard or there's something, you know, going on with staff or some issue that I don't know how to solve because I'm new to this too. I go back to the root of it all of like, but I love it. Like I love being here on a different level of like work. So I think it has to be something that you love. And if you love it, then the hard days you can get through easier. In my opinion.
I love that. That's perfect. Be passionate about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Why I do it.
Yeah, it's like you with, all of the work you do around the community. You love this community with all of your heart and soul. So your really hard struggle days are, you can sit back and be like, it's okay. Like it's bigger picture. Things are going to work out. And I tell myself that every day, like, it's fine.
Oh no, I know. I'm doing like HR and budget season stuff for the trail right now. And I'm like, do I really love this? Because this is fun.
Yes, but then you step out for a hot minute and someone will come up to you and be like, oh my gosh, I just did XYZ on the trail and I loved it about, and they just bring you back. And for me, we had a really, to be completely transparent, like the summer was really hard for us. And I think it was because it was unknown. We just didn't know what the summer would hold. And we had some, trials and tribulations, but having one of my good friends who was a newer member at the time come up to me and just be like, in tears, be like, that just meant so much to me what you guys did at that ride. And I just, loved every bit about it. And hearing that and going through like a really hard time brought me to tears. I was like, all right, like there's a bigger picture. It's really hard right now, but we are clearly getting through. If not just to one person, we're still getting through to someone. And that really put it in perspective for me.
I love that. So Kacie, same question, someone starting a business or a young woman that's wanting to do something similar, like what's a piece of advice that you would give to a new business owner?
I think Nicole hit like the nail on the head. Is that the right phrase?
Yeah.
Nail on the head.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Yes.
You hit the nail on the head. But also, I think it's like you just go for it. Just go for it. Like love it, but also just do it. And if it doesn't work out, you're not really in any different position. Maybe you'll have a little bit less money, but you'll know you tried. I don't know.
I think that goes back to one of our first conversations is, when those doors open or one door opens and it just makes sense, like to go for it instead of holding back, even though everything it's an opportunity, but you're like, oh, what if I fail? What if this happens? What if this happens? But what if the other thing happens and it becomes like the most amazing thing, possible? I mean, we haven't even touched on you guys now doing South Hill and Spokane. Like,
Patience,
I mean,
right? It is. It's patience.
It is. And it can seem daunting. And South Hill was not on our radar at all. It just was one of those things where it was like someone kept knocking. And finally I was like, ugh, what? And it just happened. And I mean, it was another thing of like my husband being like, no. I was like, well, let's just see. And, again, you put up all these walls and you keep saying like, no, if this maybe, and they keep getting knocked down. And you're like, I don't know. I just feel like you can't walk away from an opportunity when it just keeps presenting itself. You do have to jump in, and it could be the worst idea ever. It totally could, but you'll never know either way. So
exactly. I love that. It's well put, beautifully. We're about out of time, but I want to let you guys tell us, this is your chance to plug, Cycle Bar as much as you possibly can. Tell us what's coming up. How do they get a hold of you? How do they sign up? Or, is there any special, like anything that you want people to know about Cycle Bar? Let us know.
There's so much fun happening till the end of the month. I'm just letting you all know. Well, the new year, there's a lot of fun things in store. We have glow rides,
mimosa bars, avocado toast bars.
A lot of team teaches.
We got wellness bar coming with acai bowls. We got membership specials. We
have it all. It's going to be a really good time. We have the most amazing staff in place right now that all have the best ideas. We're going to try to do a vendor village at the end of every month where we bring in local businesses and showcase them so that all of our members can see them in our studio and not have to go anywhere, especially in these winter months when no one wants to go outside. But we just really want to bring community in here. And so we're just working really hard on expanding our wings of being able to bring in everybody we can and, put our attention on other people than just ourselves. But there's so much. The workout is for everybody. It's for all ages.
Oh, and I want to agree with that 100% because I know people that come there that, haven't worked out much, but they feel accomplished because they get a sweat. They're not having to lift a bunch of weight and feel like they need to keep up with everybody. They get to work on that tension themselves, which I love. And then the person that wants the harder workout can do it, and no one can feel like
no one knows what anyone's doing.
No one knows. And it's all about how you want to take that ride on that day. And it's all tailored to how you want to ride. We have so many membership specials right now just because we're closing out the year, starting the new year, for everybody who wants to focus on health and, honestly, just being part of something bigger than a workout. This is the spot, I feel.
Everyone will know your name. You will make friends here. I will be your friend. I will force myself, like, hi, we're friends now. You don't want to be my friend? It's okay.
She got off her bike today and was like, I'm sorry, I haven't met you, in the middle of class. And I was like, that's a lot at 12:45 a.m.
And then Miguel and I met for the first time, and
now we're buddies.
Now I know Miguel is Melanie's wife, and it's perfect. Husband.
Husband.
Melanie's the wife of Miguel. It's fine.
You got it.
I want to sign up, or I want to take a first class, or I want to tell me what I do to be like do the jump in and start this thing.
Jump in is easy. First class is free for everybody local. We just call or text our studio and we can get you set up for a ride. We offer classes 7 days a week, all times, and it's just a good time to be had.
And follow them on social media because they have an awesome social media because they share stuff, but then they have all of the fun things that are happening all the time.
Thanks for listening to Keeping Tabs. I'm Tabitha Crock, and every Monday I release a podcast about different community members here in North Idaho. And then we end the weeks on Fridays with a podcast about the things I'm passionate about: outdoors, adventures, sports, the van life, and even current events. So if you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube, Spotify, or iTunes. Thank you again. Now go be kind and do something great.